I'm giving somebody the blues today.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to talk about everything that's going on for Tekken and some fighting game things. Like, for example, one of the biggest things that I'll talk about, and this is definitely one of the heaviest, is the situation with Sonicfox. He recently had this collaboration deal with MRS and Nike. That's fire. Now, the sad part about this is there is political Twitter accounts that got a hold of this, and they were trying to make fun of Nike and also Sonicfox, but he defended himself, and this basically turned into this huge back and forth Twitter argument that you see happen over and over and over again. This is a reason why a lot of people avoid Twitter. You have something that should be celebrated picked up by political accounts, and then now they're targeting what we know to be one of the greatest fighting game players of all time. Sonicfox is legendary, but for them, he's an easy target to pick on. So they thought, but it's cool to see Sonicfox is fighting back. But also, I know politics is a never-ending dark hole, so you don't want to fight too much because you can kind of lose yourself. But enough of that topic. Now let's talk about Tekken. Tekken is doing this collaboration with Surgery. You can see this person here was in the shop and they were taking pictures of the posters. When I first seen these, I thought it was AI, so I had to look a little bit closer. But it's just a shop somewhere in Japan, and it's like fire merch. They have a Tekken Tag Tournament 2 cabinet. They have some jackets. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some celebrity wearing some of this stuff, but you can just see these pictures here are fire. This is the type of collaborations that Tekken should continue doing because this stuff is very successful. Here's some more looks at the posters. You guys can see Harang and Jin looking swagged out. They should put this outfit in Tekken. Am I right? Harang on the cover, and then you have Jin Kazama looking swagged out again. And then you have the shirts that you can purchase. On the topic of collaborations, we finally found out what this WWE Championship collaboration is. This is a collaboration where these 4 characters are being put into this mobile game as playable characters, and they are fully functioning in the system. It's kind of like Bejeweled with extra steps, but I know their player base month for month is pretty decent, so maybe this would expose more people to Tekken. I know Tekken has their heart set on doing these mobile collaborations, but sooner rather than later, I would want to see them collaborate with an actual console and or PC game. Let's collaborate with some of the AAA studios. That would really boost Tekken's popularity. Now, as for the new information about Mizu, they were showing off some new gameplay. You get to see the full cutscene animation between Zafina and Mizu. What I will say about this character is the idle jiggle physics is insane. Like, I knew Mizu was going to be crazy, but this is a totally different level that Tekken has never seen before. This is going to be wild. Another thing that they showed was this extended look of her intro as well. Right here is something that people was making fun of. You'll see at the start of this animation, she's kind of spinning on the sword and then it disappears. People were saying like, lol, look at this lazy animation. Look at this trash work that these developers are doing. And once again, you know, Twitter and the over negativity, I think in real time, it won't look that bad. And if you really wanted to nitpick, you could go around from character to character and find an animation that looks somewhat jank. I mean, talk about the Hell Sweep. That is one of the most jank animations of all time, but still it's one of the most iconic moves in the entire Tekken franchise. In terms of other news, we have the Game Awards, which is happening on December 11th. So this is a couple of days after Mizu releases. And the reason why this is important is because if you think about what Maximilian said, he is expecting them to show something Tekken related here. If that is the case, one, will it be story DLC because people want to see what Mizu can do in terms of story? But then 2, will they go the route of showing Season 3 DLC? You know, last year it was a big push for them to reveal everything all at once. Is that something that they're keeping in mind this time around? And are they preparing to do something like that at the Game Awards? Or are they just going to do nothing at all and we could just expect some normal reveals, you know, at the Tekken World Tour Finals, etc. Also, something that's important to note, the Unreal Engine 6 expected date is 2028. The reason why this is important is because Harada said he wants the next Tekken to release the same time as the PlayStation 6. The fact that Unreal Engine 6 has the same expected release date of the PlayStation 6 means that it's more likely that Tekken 9 will release with all of those things combined to basically maximize profit, visuals, maximize excitement, maximize everything. We saw with Tekken 8 how they sold 2 million copies in the first month. it paid off big. Something else that you have to note as well is for GTA 6, Xbox and PlayStation will probably delay their next consoles for GTA 6 to basically ride the wave. You know, a lot of people are going to play that game. It's going to be one of the biggest games of all time. And if they delay their whole console generation, that means that's more time for Tekken 8 to be out in the market, get better, get fixed, but then also unofficially delay a potential whenever Tekken 9. I'm just giving you guys this information so you can be aware of what's happening. I know a lot of it is very far in the future. Something else that I will show you guys, you know, speaking of being aware of what's happening, is pro players. You have Joe Crush. He is now the #1 Kazuya in the world. At the same time, Arsenal Ash is the #1 Lydia in the world. You do have this pretty wild tier list that was shared from Joka, where you have a lot of head scratchers. Yoshimitsu being below Armor King and Fakamam is crazy. Harong being so low. You even have characters like Leroy and Shahid at the bottom of this tier list. That is crazy. You can even highlight the Lydia not being in the top 5 or even top 10. But this is why I like tier lists, is because you get to see it from so many different perspectives. We all have our own journeys. We're all playing our own characters, and we see the game from different angles. We have different reactions, different patterns, different types of understandings. So when you see a tier list from a pro, I don't take it as something to like ridicule and make fun of, but it just gives me insight into their world. Another thing that I want to talk about, and this is a situation that we covered multiple times now, but it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The Guam region of Tekken is under heavy scrutiny right now. There is a team in Guam who is abusing the regional leaderboards, and they're setting up multiple tournaments that are basically rigged. And a lot of people for the past month has been calling this out and asking for Bandai Namco to do something. Another person you can add to the list is Rankchu. Rankchu says, unfortunately, I don't trust Regions Dojo's ranking except for a few regions. This is probably the opinion of most Tekken players, not just me. Spaghetti Rip says, unfortunately, there are players currently qualified for the TWT finals through regionals that have points very likely via dishonest reporting of dojo tournaments. There are solutions for this, but unlikely to be implemented this year. And that's the sad truth, right? Bandai Namco doesn't seem to be doing anything. Maybe next year they'll reorganize the regional leaderboard so that this can't happen. I know that they want these smaller local places to be able to get involved in the Tekken World Tour, but you got to do so in a way to where it's not being abused. Final thing that I'll talk about for this video is event hubs. They did a poll for Street Fighter 6. What characters do you want for season 4? That poll got over 19,000 votes. I'll scroll slowly. You can see which characters got the most votes and which ones players are really interested to return. I would most certainly love to see Street Fighter do another guest character. I think it's about time. They don't have to do 2, but I think 1, especially from another fighting game, would be fire. But the top of this list, you can see Makoto, Sakura, Dudley, and then a brand new Street Fighter character. Will the developers pay attention to this? Are the developers ears to the street? I don't know. That's for the Street Fighter players to worry about. For Tekken, we know that Harada loves polls, he loves player feedback, and he loves listening. Am I right? Since the Street Fighter poll did so well, Event Hubs did a poll for Tekken as well. Now, I shared this poll on Twitter to make sure the word gets out so people can vote on this. You could pick 4 characters that you want. You can only vote once, so they do have like anti-cheat measures in place. At the time of recording, there's 4,000 votes on this. And once again, I'll scroll slowly so you can see which characters are at the bottom. Noctis down there, that's an eye opener. You have Negan at the bottom, no surprise there. You have this part here where it says a Tekken character who is in the story but hasn't been playable yet. If you guys know what character they're referring to, please let me know. Hopefully it's not Leo's dad or Lars' best friend that died in Tekken 6. But up a little bit further, you can see a new guest character from an already included guest franchise. So maybe this means people want Tifa again or Street Fighter again. Now we're getting to the top of the list. This is where you see some Marnock, some Bruce, some Bob, Eliza, Kunimitsu, JC, a brand new Tekken character. People want that again, even though we got Mizu this season. The top 3 are Lei Wulong, Miguel, and then a new guest character from a franchise not yet seen in Tekken. This is something that I definitely want to see. I think season 3, they should bring the fire. I know a lot of people want Baki. You guys know me. I don't really want a MMA wrestler type character. A combination of King and Azazina would make my head explode. But regardless, The poll for this is on my Twitter. The link to my Twitter is in the description. Go down, click, vote, let your voice be heard. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and bye-bye.